meet Donna Adelson from Coral Springs, Florida. I want to hear all about you, Donna. Let's go.
Well, I'm a domestic coordinator.
A domestic coordinator?
Yes. I'm responsible for the activities, classes, and lessons of my son Robert, who is 16, Charlie, who is 12, Wendy, who is 10, my husband Harvey, who's in the audience, and my dog Sam.
All right. And how old is Sam?
5.
5. Well, good. Give him our best. Nice to have you here. And this vowels word nothing. Consonants are going to be words. Can we get 800? We can. All right. So I'm writing on this. Again, person is a category. Stu, still your turn. Letter, please. L. No L. Donna.
M.
Yes, there are 2 M's. Let them come up. You have 5 seconds. Person. Ellen. K. Yes, K.
Mustard maker.
Nope,
Mustard
still
maker.
Stu.
H, please.
Yes, there's 1 H. Time starts now. First. Donna.
F.
Yes.
Mischief maker.
Yeah, that's.
Nice.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record.
Okay. How is everybody? Hello, Vicky, Tater, Mia, Debbie, Robin. Hello, everybody. So it is the night before, or the eve before, Donna Adelson's last hearing before her trial, which starts August 19th, for the murder and conspiracy to commit murder of her former son-in-law, Dan Markel. Dan Markel was an Florida State University law professor. He was married to Donna Adelson's daughter, Wendy Adelson. They had divorced, and they were still in the process of working out their divorce. And it had gotten very, very vicious, contentious. What are the words you'd like to use for it? But I thought I'd talk about how this is really Donna's last chance to silence 2 witnesses in this case that are really like mystery witnesses, because so much of the filings concerning this and concerning this second investigation, which is almost like a second bump. So in the opening, you saw the first bump. So before any of the Adelsons got arrested for this crime, and Catherine McManua too, there was a bump. So a undercover agent handed Donna Adelson a article of the murder, about the murder of Dan Markel, with the number $5,000 written on it. And he said that, we know you're taking care of one of the shooters in the case, Sigfredo Garcia, but we want you to take care of Tato. And it's the nickname for Luis Rivera. And it did what it was meant to do, which was to get all the conspirators talking in this case and making some very good evidence against themselves. Now that Donna Adelson was arrested the airport, fleeing before the grand jury could indict her in this case, or trying to flee with a one-way ticket to Vietnam, a non-extradition country. She was specifically looking for countries without extradition treaties, and she had chosen Vietnam. So after she got arrested and she was in jail, we hear rumblings of a prison snitch for the state. And what has been reported, and it could all be wrong, is that, let me just throw up a picture of her again. I'm sure everybody's tired of looking at her. But this woman, Drina Bernhardt, what's been reported is that she is going to testify that Donna Adelson was looking through and using Harvey to do it. She's was soliciting favorable testimony and offering, was it money? Hasn't really been said. Was it commissary? But enticements to give her favorable testimony in her trial. Also, so this is one of the witnesses she wants to silence. And they say there's no truth to any of this investigation. They refer to it as an investigation. There's huge passages in the filings, in these motions, that refers to the investigation, and it's all blacked out. Also, another witness is someone else who was in Leon County. So Drina Bernhardt, if I didn't make this clear, was in Leon County jail with Donna Adelson. And word has been, this is what's been reported, was that they got very close. And on the evidence list is a painting, I assume by Donna Adelson, given to Drina Bernhardt. That is a piece of evidence in this case to show a relationship. But also in Leon County and then Wakulla County, it looks like, with Donna Adelson. But I think this is about her time in Leon County, is this woman, Patricia Bird, who was in there for violating her offender, sex offender status. She didn't notify them that she was, when she moved, within 24 hours. So she was doing some time on that. So they desperately want those people not to talk. And it's going to be very compelling tomorrow testimony to watch, or argument to watch, but more than testimony, argument to watch, from Donna Adelson's defense team of Jackie Fulford and Josh Zellman. How are they going to talk about this investigation and this motion in limine to really throw out the lion's share of their testimony? And they're saying none of it's true. There was also reported that Donna Adelson, through Harvey Adelson and her lawyers, was looking to cause harm to people, including Drina Bernhardt's mother, her own son, Robert Adelson, who's set to testify in this case and will be a devastating witness should he testify. He's the doctor who's an ear, nose, and throat doctor in upstate New York, who exiled himself from the family after coming to the conclusion that the family was behind the murder of Dan Markel, meaning Harvey Adelson, Donna's son, who's been convicted and given a life sentence, Wendy Adelson, who benefited the most from this murder and remains an unindicted co-conspirator, and her husband Harvey, who's remains an unindicted co-conspirator. So that's the Adelson family. And Robert Adelson concluded his family was behind it. Should he's been deposed by the defense. Should he talk? Very damaging for Donna. Of course, they want to silence him too. So I've been over, I can pull it up and we can look at it together, but here is their motion in limine, which is like motion to throw out. It says Mrs. Adelson has been indicted in this case for murder and conspiracy. One count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and one count of solicitation of first-degree murder. The state disclosed on October 7th, 2025, the existence of a new investigation that began after a jailhouse informant contacted the state in December 2024. So this sounds like Dorina Bernhardt. May not be. The first informant's information led to a second informant, although both informants made statements which were consistent on a limited basis. So they're saying their statements were strangely consistent. The vast majority of the first informant's claims were either established to be false or could not be corroborated. By this motion, Mrs. Adelson moves to exclude evidence from the new investigation. So, and it goes on. You can see the black marks on the end, but if you go to page 2 in this document, you can see how much is redacted. You can see when Ms. Bernhardt was interviewed, December 20th, January 13th, January 29th, and February 11th. And it just goes on. Look, it's hard to know what all this is about. And it's going to be a real bombshell if it's not really disclosed in argument tomorrow, and the first time we hear about it is at trial. Could be. So that was one of the things that they're trying to remove. The other is they desperately don't want Jason Newland, the investigator in this case, and Pat Sanford. I should have really played the arrest opening of Donna Adelson, but you see him arresting her at the airport. He's the FBI officer involved in this case. They want any of his opinions out of this case. And I thought we could look together at his testimony and look at how little of it is really opinions. So let me just show you the filing. 1 minute. So, opinion testimony of Jason Newland and Patrick Sanford, defendant Donna Adelson. They were deposed. On Jason Newland was deposed by Donna's defense team. And on July 16th, Patrick Sanford was deposed. And during their respective depositions, both Newland and Sanford expressed opinions on the new investigation. So again, it's this new investigation. They want this totally thrown out. It must be hugely damaging for Donna, whatever it is. They claim there's no truth to it. If there's no truth to it, I don't even think it would qualify as evidence, but okay. The opinions expressed by Newland and Sanford do not concern distance, time, size, weight, form, or identity. Rather, they concern the truthfulness of allegations raised during the new investigation. Allegations, the vast majority of which were not corroborated by evidence. So then they should have nothing to worry about this new investigation. There's no evidence to prove it. But testimony is evidence. They're looking for physical evidence? I don't know. Sounds like they wiretapped Harvey, and didn't sound like too much came out of it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's hard to know what's going on with these filings. So many of them are so redacted. But I thought today we'd look at Pat Sanford's testimony from Charlie Adelson's trial. And the FBI, by the way, was behind this new investigation too. So, and just take a look at some of this evidence will come into play. A lot of it will come into play for Donna, if not all of it. Take a listen.
Please say your name and spell your name.
Patrick Sanford, Sanford.
How are you employed?
I'm a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
How long have you been with the FBI?
Approximately a little over 24 years, 22 of which I was here in Tallahassee.
What are your duties there?
I'm a special agent. I investigate cases and protect national security.
And were you assigned to investigate a murder case involving the murder of Dan Markell?
Yes, I was.
Were you the lead investigator on that case?
Correct.
Did you assist the Tallahassee Police Department in that case?
Yes, I did.
Why was the FBI included in that particular investigation?
At the beginning, they had several leads, like interviews, things that they need to track down that were outside of the city.
By the way, I just want to apologize to Wesley Loves Octoberfest, who sent me a super chat yesterday. I'm so sorry. I just missed it. Wesley, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry, I missed it. Dean Walker, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate your support. Okay, back to Pat Sanford.
City of Tallahassee, that we have agents, all over the country. So we're able to facilitate some of those leads and track down certain aspects of the case.
And were some of those leads in the Miami area?
Yes, they were.
And were you assisted by Miami authorities as well in the investigation?
Correct.
As part of the investigation, were the people that were considered to be closest to the victim interviewed?
Yes, they were.
And would that include the ex-wife, Wendy Adelson?
Yes.
What did you learn in the investigation about the relationship between the victim and his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson?
They had gone to through a very contentious divorce, which even after the divorce was finalized, they still had several issues that they dealt with through the court system.
I'm going to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 56. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
You had an opportunity to look at that exhibit before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, is that a fair and accurate copy of Wendy Adelson and Dan Markell's divorce file?
That's correct.
From the clerk's office here in Leon County?
Correct.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask to move into evidence State's Exhibit 56.
An objection to State's 56.
Just our previous objection.
Very well. State's 56 is admitted at this time over defense objection.
Did you review this divorce file as part of your investigation in this case?
Yes, I did.
About how many pages are in that?
Around 576, I believe.
Okay. And I want to draw your attention to a couple things specifically, like on page 82.
That file is just so outrageous. The size. So if you're listening on podcast, the folder could not be any bigger. It just is. They bring out a giant folder, 1,000+ pages. I mean, it looks like maybe 4 or 5 books at least that consist of Dan Markell and Wendy Adelson's legal filings concerning their divorce.
Paragraph 13. They were arguing over everything, right? All the belongings,
Correct.
down to a tennis racket.
That's correct.
Okay. As part of these proceedings, did Wendy Adelson seek to relocate with her children from Tallahassee to Miami, Florida?
Yes, she did.
Right. And why did she want to relocate to South Florida, according to the filings?
The filing stated that she had a job offer in South Florida that was more lucrative than her current job.
All right. And did Mr. Markell object to her petition to relocate with the children?
He did.
All right. Did he file quite a lengthy and emphatic objection to that?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And in his motion, and that's going to be on page 82, why did he indicate he believed was the sole reason that Miss Adelson wanted to move to South Florida?
He says that he stated that the sole reason was because she could relocate with the party's minor children to be near her parents.
And was the relocation petition that Wendy filed, was that ruled on?
Yes, it was.
All right. So what did the court say about that?
The court ruled against that and ruled against her, saying she had to stay in Tallahassee with the children.
And if I said that was June 20th of 2013, does that sound right?
That's correct.
Okay. When was the divorce made final? And for that, I'll direct you to page 457 and 458.
I believe it was made final in July 31st of 2013, I believe.
All right. And did that conclude the legal issues between Miss Adelson and Professor?
One of the things that would have been hugely upsetting to Donna Adelson is to have only supervised visits with her grandchildren. And Pat Sanford's going to talk about it in a second. That was what Dan Markell was asking for. And am I muted, Tater? Can everybody hear me? Yay. No, I guess you can hear me. Okay, thank you. So she would have found that hugely, hugely infuriating, and anything that would have marred her public persona, her perfect public persona, really her phony public persona, she would have found hugely humiliating. To have to tell her friends that she would have to have, or if it got around that she could only see her grandchildren with a supervisor because of her own behavior. That, I think, is one of the things that really lit a match and created a lot of anger towards Dan Markell. But if you're Dan Markell, how are you going to put up with your former mother-in-law telling your children that you're stupid, that you're this, that you're that? I mean, they claim it never happened. Charlie Adelson said children can't repeat things like that. I beg to differ. They can't remember and repeat things like grandma says you're stupid. I think they can. Strangely, it's Donna Adelson's favorite insult, stupid. And the kids got it correct. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Mr. Markell?
No, it did not.
All right. So they continued to file quite a lot of filings after that. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. In fact, there's over 250 more pages of stuff after the divorce was final. Does that sound right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to March 26th of 2014. Did Mr. Markell file a motion seeking some relief related to the grandmother, Donna Adelson?
Yes, he did.
And what specifically was he seeking in reference to Donna Adelson?
He was seeking to limit her visitation rights to where they had to be monitored. Supervised.
by another adult.
That's correct.
And why in the pleading did Mr. Markell indicate that this supervision was needed?
I'm sorry, could you refresh the page number?
Look at 450. Yeah, 450.
Mr. Markell stated that that the children informed him that Grandma says you're stupid and that she says you're trying to take your sunshines away.
That Grandma, meaning Donna Adelson,
That's correct.
was saying that telling the kids that Dan Markell was stupid?
That's correct.
Did you also come into possession of some emails that were exchanged between Wendy Adelson and Donna Adelson?
We did.
All right, I'm going to show you what I've marked as States Exhibit 57. Have you had an opportunity to review those emails
Yes, I have.
prior to today, which we can't find? Have you had a chance to review those before today?
I have.
Okay. Anything in those emails that goes to motive in your investigation?
Yes, there is.
And what is that?
She was being very assertive. Mrs. Adelson, Mrs. Donna Adelson was being very assertive with Wendy Adelson, trying to influence her to do different things to Mr. Markell to get him to agree to let her and the children to move to South Florida.
And what was the thing that was expressly stated in these emails as the most important part of Wendy's whole divorce and litigation.
It was relocation to South Florida to be close to the family.
All right. And was there mention in those emails of a bribe that was to be offered?
So if you go through these emails, I mean, so much of them are just about like just a total psychological warfare against Dan Markel. I mean, she says in them, oh boy. She says, let's just go. Okay, she says we don't want Danny to continue his religious influence over these children any more than what he's already done. If he keeps this up and they don't want to eat in your non-kosher home, and if they see you don't want to attend their shul functions, you will be the outsider. As they get older and more involved under Gibber's religious influence, they will be able to request which parent they want to live with. Don't allow Gibbers to have this power and control over them. In reality, he's going to have the same control over you. Dad and I have changed our lives this year to support and assist you and the boys in every way possible. Charlie has accepted the loss in the office business income for us to do this because he loves you and wants only the best possible future for you. So there's a motive for murder right there, for Charlie to be involved in this murder right there. And it's time for you to show us that you can put on the performance of your life for the next few weeks. And she says, take control from him, get to him psychologically. You cannot tell anyone this is an act. Somehow it will get back to him. She uses the demeaning nickname. Now you have one final opportunity to make him angry. We want him ticked off so he realizes that he could lose control over his kids. I mean, power and control is what this case is all about. It's what so many of these cases are all about with these psychopaths that I talk about in these true crime cases. We plan to make a financial offer to him to allow this relocation. See, they weren't expecting this to work. It's like change the kid's religion and this would work. It was just to get him sort of begging, get him in a just gain power and control over him through this psychological warfare that they were going to do. You need to work this plan and we'll help you through it so that it may affect how much we will offer him. Maybe he'd be willing to let you relocate if he knew his children would attend a private Hebrew academy like Donna Klein and Boca, or perhaps he'd like them to invite him to a Christmas party or their other Sunday school. I mean, why would he think that Wendy would, if he really believed Wendy's act, she couldn't tell anyone that dressing the kids up and taking pictures of them in front of a Catholic church and putting it up on social media saying new beginnings wasn't really a real conversion to Catholicism. If he believed it was a real conversion, what would make him think that Wendy would just drop Catholicism as soon as she went to Miami? It was just about scaring him and punishing him psychologically. And that really seems to be the real aim. In another email, she writes, okay, wait, hold on one second. She writes, okay, you need to see whatever it's ridiculous that he can depose you and you can't depose him. It just seems ridiculous for him to be able to depose you, but for you and Kristen not to give him the same crap he's pulling on you. It's time to give it to him. I mean, just be as cruel as you can be to this guy. Don't tone it down. Just turn it up.
Or to Dan Markell to potentially facilitate this relocation?
There was.
And who was going to pay for the bribe?
There was going to be a three-way payment between Donna and Harvey Adelson. We're going to pay 33% of it. Charlie Adelson would pay 33%, and then Wendy would pay the other 33%.
All right. And what was the total amount of this potential bribe?
$1 million.
All right. Was there any financial benefit to Wendy Adelson that occurred as a result of Dan Markell's death?
There was.
What were those that benefit or benefits?
There was at least, I believe, a couple of life insurance policies, one of which was around $2 million. There was Social Security benefits to the kids that were provided, I believe, like $4,800 a month. There was a 401k that he left behind, and some other accounts.
Pension as well?
Yes, there was a pension.
Okay. And some deferred comp, $217,000 there?
That's correct.
Okay. And you mentioned the 401k. Do you recall how much money was in that?
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay. Is there something that could refresh your memory on that?
Possibly.
Does $100,000 sound right?
Yes, it does.
All right. As part of the investigation in this case, you looked at sort of the people closest to Dan. Did you also investigate the day of the homicide and his routine or activities that day?
We did.
And what did you learn about his schedule that day?
That morning, he had custody of the kids that day, of his two children, his two boys. He took them to daycare over off of West Tharp Street, dropped them off around 8:50 a.m., and then drove back across town and went to Premier Gym right off of McClay Boulevard, Thomasville Road, Capitol Circle area.
Was there any surveillance images captured outside the gym that showed the vehicles coming and going from there?
Yes, there was some exterior cameras on the gym itself, on the roof of the gym.
And did that surveillance, were you able to identify from that surveillance which vehicle was Dan Markell's vehicle arriving at the gym?
Yes, we were.
Okay. And was there another vehicle that appeared to be a suspect vehicle captured in this video?
That's correct.
And why did you describe, or why am I describing this other vehicle as a suspect vehicle?
We did obtain multiple pieces of footage, video footage around town, also showing that it appeared a light green Prius was following Mr. Markell wherever he went that morning.
And was that description of a vehicle consistent with the description that Mr. Geiger gave us of the vehicle that he saw leaving the crime scene?
That's correct.
Charlie Adelson looks so sick, doesn't he? He looks like he's going to throw up through most of his trial. The nervous blinking, the pallor to his skin. So he goes through just the amazing lengths they went to get evidence in this case. They could basically monitor almost every aspect of the killers. And here comes his cross-examination by Dan Rashbaum, Charlie Adelson's lawyer. Let's take a listen.
I don't know if I can speak to that.
Well, let me see if I can help you. You went through Miss Adelson's emails as well in your investigation?
I did not. The team did.
Sorry, I'm a little ahead here. Let's go back a little bit.
Started monitoring her in late 2015, probably November. Basically had electronic surveillance on her residence. Plus, we also were monitoring her phone, location services on her phone historically and prospectively too.
And how long was that the case? How long was she being?
So this is, I believe they're talking about Donna being monitored, and Donna's going to has her own experts in forensics and digital forensics, and she's going to call into question the evidence against her, every piece of evidence basically against her, it sounds like, in this forthcoming trial.
Monitored what period of time?
On electronic video surveillance was from November of 15 until she no longer lived at that apartment.
All right. And through any of those means that you described, were you able to deduce what it was she was doing for the Adelson Institute in person or remotely?
No, not at all.
Oh no, he's talking about Katie. But still, any way that they surveilled Donna, the tapes that they have against her, Donna is going to refute it with her own experts.
All right, and we heard in opening that there was a wiretap in this case. Anything on the wiretap that indicated what?
That's part of the recording. It's not me, that horrible high-pitched sound.
She was doing for that business?
There's a couple of references about cleaning up on the weekends. That was about it, though.
Okay, and again, we would have known if she'd gone there to clean up on the weekends, right? At least during the time frame she described.
That's correct.
And that didn't happen.
It did not.
Okay. 1 moment, please, Your Honor.
Lolly perfectly said, "You can't use this evidence against me. It makes me look guilty."
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just compliment, if you can move the left turn slightly over to the left, and it's not cutting on any wires, does it?
I don't think so.
I'm going to move it anyway. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm going to move it way over.
Try not to jockey with the microphones, because that might be causing some feedback.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let's actually start where we left off, the checks.
Okay.
Okay. The checks began 2 months after the date that Professor Markell was murdered, give or take.
That's what the date on the checks were for that employment, correct?
And the checks were in batches, right? Often.
They seem to be. The sequence of the check numbers were in batches, correct?
So he's examining, talking about the checks, ways in which Katie was paid by Donna, also damning evidence against Donna that's coming into trial. A day says Donna will be going back to civilization soon in prison. So I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail, but it says short stop on the way to prison. I mean, that's what this trial is, really. It seems inevitable. I'd be so shocked if she didn't get convicted, but you never know which way a jury's going to go.
Just so everyone understands what that means, you would see a check for check number 1, 2, 3, and 4, for instance. And you would see those checks, even though they were the next checks in the book, they'd be for payments every 2 weeks, essentially.
Correct. What I observed was a few checks in sequence, and at the bottom it would give date ranges of when they were for, and they would be for 2 week segments. And then the very next check was for another 2 week segment later on. And then there was other checks in the system that were dated out of range of those.
So it looked like Miss Magbanaway was given a stack of checks at a time, for instance. Fair assumption?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Those checks, when you added them up, they were about $1,000 a month, right?
believe so. Yeah, it was like $460 a month or something like that. Or every 2 weeks, I mean.
$460 every 2 weeks.
Correct.
Which I'm not great at math. $920, and there's taxes, a little bit of taxes taken out, right?
Sure. Correct.
So about $1,000 a month.
Correct.
Now, I think you testified that the state's theory of why this murder occurred was partially a murder because of the desire of Miss Adelson to relocate. I think that's what you testified on direct. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
You're aware that the relocation motion was denied in June of 2013, right?
Correct.
And that's more than a full year before the murder, right?
The relocation was in June of 13? Yes.
The murder was in middle of July of 2014.
Right. Correct.
As part of your investigation, did you learn that no one really thought the relocation motion was going to be successful?
I don't know about no one, but there was some indication they thought it might not be successful. Correct.
Did you try to speak to Miss Adelson's lawyer?
I did not know. Tallahassee Police Department did at one point.
And did they learn that the motion was, as she says in an email, a moonshot?
I don't know that.
Now, you discussed in your direct examination, you talked about some of these emails. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Actually, before we get there. No, actually, we'll stay there. Those emails, you reviewed them?
I reviewed some of them, not all of them. The team did.
Okay. Out of the ones that you reviewed, anything in those emails about murder?
About murder? No.
Anything in those emails about violence?
Not that I saw, no.
Anything in those emails about any type of illegal activity at all?
Strange that they didn't want to divulge every bit of the details of their murder planning, which hadn't started, I don't believe, at that point in these emails.
Not that I recall. I mean, the bribe itself wouldn't be illegal, I don't think.
In fact, with regard to the $1 million email, I think is the one that you're referring to, did you see emails where they were consulting lawyers about whether that $1 million offer was legal?
I did.
So fair to say, as crazy as the emails were, we agree they're crazy, right?
Yes.
There was at least some sanity to make sure what they were doing was legal, right?
One portion of it, yes.
Now, those emails, did you see any emails where any of these ideas were coming from Charlie Adelson?
I saw some emails where they were discussed with him, apparently.
But any time where he was actually coming up with the ideas as opposed to being copied on the email where he says, okay, sounds good.
I think there was some reference of her saying she discussed it with him, but I did not see emails from him. No.
Meaning Donna discussing it with
Correct.
his mother.
Correct.
The $1 million email.
Yeah, it doesn't make your client look great. And Charlie Adelson bemoans this after his conviction on the jailhouse calls to his mother, Donna Adelson, that he was convicted because of these crazy emails. Your crazy emails got me convicted. But never says, like, he's on there being like, great idea. Good going, Mom. Dress the kids up in Hitler Youth outfits. Convert to Catholicism. Torture Dan Markel, essentially, psychologically. Get to him psychologically. Because if they thought any of that would work, they wouldn't be looking to bribe him. I mean, it's under the guise of this is a goal for relocation, but it's really just Donna getting out her anger and her hatred. The whole family, as Jeffrey Lacasse said, it was like the whole family pastime, my words, not his, was hating Dan Markel.
I think we'll talk about this later in more detail when you're back. But let's just tie it up here a little bit. You've listened to Mr. Adelson on the phone a lot, right?
I did.
Is it fair to say he's a big talker?
That's fair.
Is it fair to say he repeats himself a lot?
That is very fair.
Through your investigation, are you aware that this $1 million...
That is very fair. Someone who's listened to these jailhouse tapes. Oh boy. I mean, he just goes over and over the same subject matter from day to day to day, over and over, saying the same things over and over again. But there's some fascinating little nuggets in there too. Hey, Lolly, 77, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate your support. Myrna, Sultana, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate you supporting the channel.
Idea where Mr. Adelson was going to lend $350,000. Did he talk to a lot of people about that idea? Are you aware of that through your investigation?
I am not aware of that.
Now, back to the divorce. Are you aware that the divorce between Professor Markel and Miss Adelson was finalized in July of 2013?
That's my understanding. Yes, correct.
Again, that's about a year before the murder, correct?
Correct.
And after Miss Adelson's relocation motion was denied, are you aware that she was determined to make a life for herself in Tallahassee?
I don't know if I can speak to that.
Well, let me see if I can help you. You went through Miss Adelson's emails as well in your investigation?
I did not. The team did.
Did anyone from the team talk to you about those emails?
Some of them.
All right, well, let's see if you're aware of some of these. Are you aware that she was looking to buy property in Tallahassee?
No, it was not.
You didn't see any emails to that effect?
I did not personally know.
Are you aware that she was looking to enroll her kids in schools, a new school in Tallahassee, for the fall of 2014? In other words, after the time when Mr. Markel was murdered.
I know there was discussions about that with Mr. Markel. I'm aware of that.
Are you aware that she was scheduling plans with friends in Tallahassee for August of 2014 and for the fall of 13, all of which would have occurred after the murder? Are you aware of that?
No.
You didn't see those in any emails that you reviewed?
I did not see those, no.
Are you aware that she was scheduling business meetings for late July 2014?
Well, it would be awfully weird if she had no plans from July 18th, 2014 on. It would be awfully weird looking. Point the finger right at her. Sorry, I can't schedule that business meeting because unfortunately my ex-husband's going to get murdered and I won't be in Tallahassee, or just saying I won't be in Tallahassee. Everybody would be running into the police office and figuring Wendy.
The emails on them.
I did not see that, no.
Are you aware that she purchased plane tickets leaving for Tallahassee to go to a wedding out of state? Those plane tickets were purchased in June, but they were purchased for an October wedding. She bought plane tickets to leave from Tallahassee. Are you aware of that?
No.
Are you aware that her family, including Mr. Adelson, was planning to come up to Tallahassee in August 2014 when Miss Adelson was going to be honored at FSU?
No.
You didn't see any emails on that either, did you?
I didn't.
But you're aware that the state subpoenaed Miss Adelson's emails, right?
I am.
Now, you also mentioned this, I like to call it the grandmother motion. Can we call it that?
Sure.
In March of 2014, there's these, it actually starts earlier. It starts, can I have that big binder?
It was February.
Yes.
The clerk has it.
All right, well, it's okay. Somewhere in that big binder, there's a bunch of litigation back and forth with Miss Adelson and Professor Markel regarding money.
Yes.
And at some point in the course of a motion that Wendy Adelson filed, Professor Markel files a motion back, and that's when he seeks to have only supervised visits of the kids with with Donna Adelson. That's the motion you were talking about with Ms. Kappelman, correct?
Correct.
And that occurs in early 2014, right?
It does.
Now, the motion doesn't get heard because Ms. Adelson's lawyer has to recuse herself, right?
I believe so.
And she has to recuse herself because Professor Markell makes allegations against that lawyer as well.
I'm not aware of that, but okay.
And so that's part of the reason of the delay of why the motion's not heard. Are you aware of that?
I am, correct.
Are you aware that in the course of this litigation, in that binder, I don't want to find the page, I won't be able to, that the court chastised, was critical of Professor Markell on this motion?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware that the court highlighted that the motion probably wouldn't be granted?
No, I did not see that.
The jury was at it. Are you aware that on July 11th, 2014, this is months after that motion. Well, let me back up. When you studied this case, is it fair to say that with all the litigation, there were good periods of times after the divorce between Professor Markell and Ms. Adelson as well, right?
I can't speak to that. My partner did most of that research, so I was not very familiar with it.
Fair enough. Well, are you aware that on July 11th, 2014, so this is several months after the grandmother motion, that Professor Markell asked Donna and Harvey Adelson to watch the kids for him?
I am not aware of that.
Are you aware that he had a function to go to and Ms. Adelson had another function to go to, and he didn't have childcare for them, and he asked them to watch the kids for him?
No.
7.
Right. Is this Wendy Adelson's testimony? Is this the last time Donna Adelson saw him? That he was asked to watch the kids and Donna made him banana bread that he couldn't eat because it was not kosher in their non-kosher oven?
Days before the murder?
Not aware of it.
No one believes that story. I mean, he's throwing that out like there's some kind of proof for that.
Couple more. Ms. Kappelman on direct asked you about a life insurance policy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And she asked you, she made it seem like, well, let me be clear. Was it your position that Wendy Adelson gained $2 million from that life?
I believe there is I believe that Mr. Markell's sister has custody of that and is supposed to distribute it to, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I believe distribute to the children as needed.
So let me be clear so the jury's not confused. Are you aware that Professor Markell had a life insurance policy in March of 2012?
I'm not sure of the dates, but I knew he had one.
And that originally Wendy Adelson was the beneficiary of that policy.
That sounds right.
But in October of 2012, 2 years before his murder, he signed the policy over, making his sister the beneficiary and the custodian for his boys. Are you aware of that?
I wasn't sure of the date, but yes, I'm aware of that.
So Wendy Adelson isn't permitted to get any money from that policy without Professor Markell's sister, correct?
Yes, without her sister, yes.
I just want to make sure that's clear. Special agent, you've been a FBI agent for almost 25 years,
Correct.
mostly in Miami, right?
No, in here in Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee, okay. Apologies. You've investigated, fair to say, maybe more than a dozen murders?
Fair to say.
How many murders for hire have you done
Recently,
in your life?
over my lifetime, probably half a dozen, but in the past 2 years, 2.
So putting this case aside, which I know you believe is a murder for hire, putting this case aside, in those cases that you've done that were...
I know you think it's a murder for hire, but really it's a extortion case where a murder was done on spec and then they extorted someone on a payment plan and gave them a payment plan. Specifically, the Latin Kings gave Charlie Adelson a payment plan where he could pay it off. Very reasonable. What was it, $3,000 a month? Very reasonable payment plan those Latin Kings are known for. Okay, so that'll give you an idea of some of the evidence Donna Adelson wants thrown out. I will be live tomorrow morning before her 9 a.m. Eastern time hearing. It's the final hearing in Donna Adelson's case before she goes to trial. So I will be streaming it live. Meet me there. I think I say I'm going to start at 8:45. I might start a little earlier than that. I might start at 8:30. So look for me tomorrow morning. But before I go, I'm going to end this episode the way I end so many of these episodes about the murder of Dan Markel, by reading a victim impact letter in this case. So this was from Sigfredo Garcia's trial and Catherine McBanowa's trial. Actually, it looks like more like 2019, so Catherine McBanowa's second trial. Maybe it was, okay. I met, so it's from September 23rd, 2019. I met Danny Markel in the fall of 1996. Let's see if I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. We were both graduate students in the UK, with us both being from Toronto and having fairly similar backgrounds. Conversation and friendship came easily to us. I'm writing this letter to share with you how deeply impacted I was by the senseless murder of my dear friend. I knew Dan as a college friend, young lawyer just starting out with an eye for down the road to a career in an Ivy League academic environment, as a man in love with the most amazing and beautiful woman in the world, quote unquote, and finally as a caring and loving father to his two boys. Those boys meant the universe and beyond to him. He would do anything for them and often did. So I was saddened when, one summer, while Dan and his spouse and boys were visiting with me and my husband at our home in Toronto, his spouse revealed to me privately that she believed she had, quote, married the wrong man, unquote. Later that evening, after Dan and his family had departed, I shared Wendy's confession to my husband, and we both said to one another something like, how sad, he'll probably end up being a single dad at some point, despite him being still madly in love with Wendy. How I wish that Dan were a single dad today, with his huge circle of friends, colleagues, family members, and loved ones, many of whom came to see Dan almost as though he were family, myself included. I just know his life would have continued to be full of joy, love, generosity, humor, kindness, and warmth. His spirit was too indefatigable, his heart too full of love. He was too resilient to be brought low for long. Dan was murdered during a time of personal upheaval in his life, at a moment in time when he was indeed feeling low. And yet, whenever we would speak during those anguish-filled months, he would start by saying, how's Haley? How are you doing? That was just Dan. Before closing, I'd like to share one story with you that says everything to my mind about how Dan envisioned how his marriage would be if he found the right partner. Many years before he and Wendy met, while we were still in grad school, he told me that when he married, he hoped to find a woman who might feel exactly as he did, that when, For instance, upon visiting a doctor for this or that ailment, one of them would say, while the other nodded in agreement, "Doctor, we're here today because we're feeling pretty lousy about my husband-wife's ailment. Can you help us?" Losing Dan meant losing a bright and sparkly light in my life, a source of happiness and joy, a warm and loving friend who always looked out for those whom he loved. It is my deepest hope that justice is served through this and forthcoming trials. Sincerely, Hazley Meslin, PhD, Toronto, Canada. That is the end of this episode. Please hit the like button on your way out. Support the channel. There are links you can find in the description of this episode. Ways you can support the channel. You can send me a Venmo, buy me a coffee, become a Patreon, and get access to content you won't find anywhere else. Eva says, thank you for all your past streams catching up. Thank you, Eva, for listening. I will see you all tomorrow morning for this hearing. So I'll be live starting latest at 8:45 a.m., maybe a little earlier. Look for me maybe a little earlier. Donna's last hearing before her trial. We'll watch it together. Starts at 9 a.m. Eastern. But if you want to hang out beforehand, come to the channel a little earlier. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You plotted a murder 'cause you wanted to raise your daughter's kid. Tallahassee is just a stop on the way to civilization. Miami is where all the fancy people are. The TV is a Power 5. You can't get away from that. Two-toe, tay-toe, hoo-ho. You know the guy you pay, and you can't get away from that. Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You thought jail was just for the little people, but now you're sold blankets with the locked up crew. You're a grandmother in lockdown, and your one-way ride to freedom you blew. What a stitch you're in. Your family are exiled from the social circles you swam in. We all know you never made that, but now